Morning everyone, my name is Audrey, I'm StitchyWitch42. This is my channel about cross-stitch, life, the universe, and everything. And today is the 21st day of March. Do you own up to your own random acts of stupid? Oh man, I have to. I have to. I did my last video 2 weeks ago. Our refrigerator was in the process of dying. And that night, Mark said that he found another refrigerator, a new refrigerator for me to go purchase the next day in Kaiser, which is 15 miles west of us. It's a suburb just north of Salem, Oregon. So Tuesday, I went into Kaiser to Lowe's, and I happened to be talking with Mark on the Bluetooth in my car. And I pulled into the Lowe's parking lot. I started to pull into a parking place, and there was a shopping cart at the front end of it. And behind that was a raised curbed walkway. So I stopped and I sat there while I was talking with Mark on the phone, the Bluetooth, thinking to myself, when I'm done with him, I'll go move the shopping cart and then I can pull my car forward. We finished our conversation. I opened up the door to the car. I took my foot off the brake and realized immediately my moment of stupid. I had not put my car in park. My car rolled forward, hit the shopping cart, pushed it against the curb, which eventually stopped my car. And I caused $1,800 worth of damage to my car because I didn't put my car in park. Yeah. 2 people watched me do it. A woman was walking past and she stopped and asked if she could help, and I was nice. I was very frustrated with myself, but I was nice, and I said, no, I can do it. And a moment later a gentleman came up and asked the same thing, and I said, no, I'm good. I got in my car, I backed it up, I moved the shopping cart. It didn't look like I had done that much damage to the front of my car, but when I took it in to get an estimate on it, it's scraped. There's a crack, there's a hole in the very front of the fender. The headlight bracket is broken, so it's not holding the headlight properly. And then the guy made the comment, "You're lucky the airbags didn't go off." Oh man. Okay. I have a $500 deductible. It's going to cost me $500. But yeah, it was a random act of stupid. I went in, I ordered the refrigerator. They delivered it the following Tuesday, which is now a week ago. Mark is fixated on working on his Jeep, so trying to get him to get the other things that have been piled up in my kitchen since the first refrigerator died, it's taken a bit. My house has been a disaster. But it's okay. What I'm dealing with is nothing compared to what other people in the world are dealing with, so. But I had to own up to my random act of stupid. So I've been working on cross stitch, as I do, and I have 2 finishes. One you've seen before, but this time it really is finished. And I want to show to you, let me see if I got it the right way, yes. The not fully finished, but it's finished. I got this corner done last night. I decided that I want to take this one up to Acorns and Threads and have Jolynn make it into an envelope pillow for me. I know I could do it myself, but I'm kind of feeling like after my random act of stupid, I need to give myself some grace. So I'm going to let Jolynn finish this for me. But all the stitching is done. It's there. It's beautiful. It was my oldest project. I was informed by a viewer that projects aren't really old unless they're 10 or 20 years old. I don't have anything that old. Prior to making Flosstube videos, I was always a monogamous stitcher. And, you know, I would start one project and I would work on it and I would get it done and I would get it framed or have Mark frame it or do something with it. It wasn't really until I started doing Flosstube that I started having multiple projects. Not multiple the way some people do. When I get to the point where I have more than 10, I start getting twitchy. And we don't want a twitchy stitchy witch. We don't. It's best for everyone if we don't. I was twitching over my random act of stupid. I am still irritated with myself. It's okay. It's fine. I'll get past it. I finished Baltimore and I abused the heck out of this pattern. But if anybody would be interested in having a very abused pattern, it's still readable. It's been folded multiple times and I have used highlighter on it. If somebody is interested in Baltimore, you know the drill. Use the word boo, B-O-O, in your comments, and I would be happy to send off these two patterns anywhere. It is a fun stitch. I think it's a very, very pretty stitch. I used all the call for colors, and I think I even used the call for fabric. I'm not sure. Nope, I did not use the called for fabric. I used all the call for colors though. Anyway, Baltimore is finished, and I'm going to take it to Jolynn and let her do her magic with it because I don't want to. I just don't want to. So the other finish that I have, and it's another one that I'm thinking of taking up to Jolynn because I don't really know how to do a finish on this, but this is the Ink Circles Harvest Trio. And I did this on a 27 count banding, and I've got the top folded over there. I don't really know how to sew the ends on banding. The last time I stitched on banding and I finished it myself, I didn't like the way I sewed the top of it. It was very obvious to me, which is okay, but I want to have Jolynn do this because I don't know how to finish the bottom off. And whatever she does is going to be fabulous because I've had her do other finishes for me and they're just absolutely gorgeous. But this is done. I had started with the pumpkin. I was doing all the stitching, working up through the birds, and then I started with the top crow and I worked down and did all the beading. And when I got down into the pumpkin, realized that there were huge sections of stitching that I just kind of forgot to do. So I stopped the beading and I went back in there and I finished it, and I think this is gorgeous in life. It is so pretty. The beads add so much to it. There's two little square buttons that are, I purchased them. one is supposed to go here and the other one is supposed to go over here. When it came time for me to put them on, I decided I don't want them. So I'm going to pass the stash on Harvest Trio also. And if you're interested in this one, say Trio. And I will include those buttons along with the pattern. Now, this pattern, it folds out and it started tearing along this seam here, so I have put packing tape across both seams to keep it from tearing more. And other than some pencil marks on the back of it, the pattern's in good shape. So, pass the stash on Harvest Trio. If you're interested, say Trio. I will include those buttons, and again, I will send it anywhere. So I've been in a nostalgic mood, and my friends Heather, Punky Pearls, and Anna, Stitch Roadies, they got me hooked on watching the little reels, video clips that you can watch on Instagram. I lose hours at a time doing that. It's a bad habit to get into. But they've been showing clips from Friends. So I went and found Friends on HBO Max, and I've been binge watching since the very beginning. And it's so funny because every now and then you come across one of the scenes that they used for one of those reels, and it's like, oh, I know what this. I've been having fun watching some Friends and stitching, and yeah. So I have my 2 finishes, and that got me to looking in my journal that I purchased last year from Chris Yo as the Yo Flies. And I had replaced the inside of it. And this front page here, these are my finishes that I've done so far for the year. See, Anna, I have stars. I have stars. I have 5 of these projects that I have not fully finished myself. So on this page there are 15 projects that I have finished this year. 2 of them have been carryovers from previous years. Baltimore started in 2019, and Harvest Trio I started last year, I think. Yes, I started it in March of last year, or in January of last year, and I finished it in March of this year. So that got me thinking, well, how many projects do I have left? Because I had carried forward 6, and obviously if I've had 15 finishes, I've had several starts so far this year. So I sat down and I figured it out, and when I made my list, I only had 5. I have my Alphonse Mucha, which is now my oldest project. It was started in March of 2020. I have my Stony Creek Halloween Village Afghan, which was started in June of 2020. I have my Mandarinx design, Moon Charm. I started that January 1st, 2021, when coughing fit later. Alphonse Mucha, Halloween Village Afghan, Moon Charm. I have Frogwarts, which I started on the 22nd of June 2021, and I have my Sunflower Seeds for Ukraine, which I started on the 17th of March this year. 5 projects, until I started another new one. So I had shared with you that I had stitched the Candlemas piece from the Primitive Hare from the 2021 cross-stitch calendar. This one right here is Beltane, May 1st, May Day. And I like it. It's a maypole where they have the ribbons hanging around them and dance and celebrate and all that kind of fun stuff. I decided I wanted to start that. So I went upstairs and I pulled some fabric, and I had to come up with my own conversion on this because she uses mostly Weeks Dye Works and Gentle Arts, and she uses some DMC. Well, I had 2 of the Gentle Arts flosses, so I did conversions for the other. There's a total of 8 colors in here. I had 2 colors. I came up with 6 colors of my own. I found a piece of linen upstairs, a 32 count vintage country mocha Lugana. And this is my start. I like this. I love the colors in it. I think it's looking very pretty. I'm starting to do some of the ribbons coming down off the center maypole here. And I'm thinking this one I'm probably going to do as a flat mount. Flat fold, I should say. I think it's pretty, and it's a nice thing to add to my wheel of the year that kind of seems to be a focus in the back of my brain. So I started working on that on the 17th of March. I started sunflower seeds on the 28th of February, and I started this one on the 17th of March. If I would read my notes properly, I would know this. But yeah, who wants to do that? So of course I had to grab a project bag to keep it in, and I'm using this one. This is from Dot Dot Goose. I think she is a gorgeous, gorgeous project bag. And of course she has a witch, and we all know I'm Stitchy Witch. Did you notice my background here? I changed it up. I took all my March stitching down, my shamrocks and such, and I was trying to figure out what to put back up here, and I thought, you know something? I'm going to do an homage to myself. This book cover was the reason why I started making Flosstube. I'd found this pattern, and it's actually supposed to be for a really small book that you can make. I got a big art journal and realized that it would work if I adapted it. So I stitched this, and Mark helped me. Mark covered the book for me and did an absolutely fabulous job. And what I started doing in this at first is, this is where I kept all my Happy Mail. But after about halfway through, it got so thick that I can barely fit it into my holder anymore. So I have at least half of the journal that doesn't have anything in it because it's just gotten too chunky. But I love my book. So, Stitchy. Stitchy Witch 42. Stitchy Witch 42 has to have a cauldron filled with some pillows. One says witch. And I don't know if you can see them, but I have these 2 little candle holders down here that I bought years ago. One of them actually says number 4, and the other one says number 2. So, Stitchy Witch 42. Yeah, I know, I'm crazy. And you all like it. So it's good. Okay, but I'm going to go back to Beltane. I put my floss together, and I had gotten some Happy Mail. I had ordered, and I know you've seen this on everyone else's videos, I ordered the Mother Clucker Floss Bling from Chris Young. Becca took this photo, and I have to explain about this photo here. See, I want you to take a really, really good look. Here's Becca, and then behind her is me and Anna and Colleen. Cheryl and Colleen. I don't know why I mixed their names up. They're sisters after all. But if you look, it looks like I'm wearing a purple outfit there. It's not a purple outfit. It's a dress mannequin. When we were getting ready to pose for this picture, I said, hey Anna, you put one hand on one of the mannequin's boobs and I'll put my hand on the other mannequin's boobs. Until Cheryl said, excuse me, that's my mannequin. We took our hands off. So it looks like I'm wearing purple when in actuality, that's the mannequin. Just thought you'd need to know that story. Because why not? If you didn't watch Colleen and Cheryl's video about our visit up at the hen house, you have to go back. We laughed so hard that day. We always do. So anyway, that was my new start because I was feeling like I needed it. Okay, my other project that I have been working on cross-stitch related. Remember when we were all exchanging floss bling? Well, I have all these cards that I received in exchange for my floss cards. And I thought, how do I want to use them? Because I've got a lot of them. I think I bought 500 cards and I've sent all mine out, so I should have 500 floss bling cards. I decided that I was going to go through and put all my fancy floss on these cards. So I came downstairs and I took my box and I took one floss card and I wrote it down, and these are my Weeks Die Works. So I took one card and put it on here, and then I reached in and I grabbed a different card and put my next color on, grabbed a different card, and so each one of these is different. On the front of it, and the reason that I put this on the front of it is because I started from the lowest number going towards the highest numbers. You know, when you flip around and around and around, you lose that. So I decided to give myself a marker, and this is another one of Chris Yo's floss bling. I think this may be the one that I already had. No, this is the one that she just sent me when I got the Mother Clucker floss bling. I also did the same thing with my Gentle Arts flosses, and this has another one of her floss bling on it that I had purchased from her previously. But I really like the way these look on all the different cards, and I thought it was a great way to use them. And like I said, since each one is on a different card, when I pull flosses for my different patterns that I'm working on, I'm always going to have a new floss card to look at. And what I liked, and I just realized this morning, is that Chris sent me her floss bling card, floss drop card. So I get to add that to my box, and on my next set of flosses that I'm switching over to my rings, I will have hers to add to my mix. And yes, I am counting this as a project because sitting down and moving floss from one card to another and labeling these and punching the holes in them is a project by itself. But I think it was one that it was well worth doing. My sunflower seeds for the Ukraine piece. This one is giving me issues. I came downstairs and I started working on this one this morning, and I was working on the word grow. And I had most of the G done and most of the R done, and I was starting on the O, and I was lining up the O with the letter above it, and I thought, the spacing is too far apart between the O and the R, because I started them in the wrong spot. So I took them all out, and I came back, and I started working on it again, and this time I thought, I'm going to start with the two little flower pots on either end. So I started the flowers, and then I took the darker green, the shadow green, and I started working backwards since I had already done the G and the R. So I thought I'd go from the W to the O. And I get to take it out again, because apparently today I can't count. Sunflower seeds for the Ukraine. This is on a 20 count, I think. It's a Lugana, I know that. This is a piece of the fabric that I got from Marsha. Huge piece of fabric, but I love working on this. I am stitching 2/1 because it's a very loose weave and I want to have coverage. And this one I am housing in my bag from Tara, the 805 Stitcher. So, gorgeous bag, well done, and I love it. I got some happy mail. My friend Audrey sent me a beautiful St. Patrick's Day card. Thank you very much. I was also contacted by a lady, and I hope I'm saying your name right. Cavell, Cavellell, yes. She asked me if I was interested in a pattern she had taken out of a magazine. And I have to show you these because they are so cute. You know how I had on my display here, I had my frog with the little shamrocks and the thistles on the stakes? Well, she found these, and they're called Frightening Faces. I don't know what year this is from. It's from Stitch World. But there's 5 little faces here. 2 witches, Dracula, Frankenstein, and a mummy. And I was sitting here reading these. Stitch counts on these are 27 by 27. They're tiny. I'm reading the instructions on this. These are supposed to go on fabric buttons. I don't know if I'll put them on fabric buttons. I might. I know for sure that I want to stitch these 2 lovely faces. The hair on these are peacock feathers. Is that what it said? But it gives directions on how to do them. I think they're absolutely adorable. Thank you so very much for thinking of me and for sending them to me. She also sent along a piece of 28 count denim blue Jobelin. Love this color. And then she also sent along a measuring bracelet. It's a leather bracelet and it has inches on it. And on it says, not everything that counts that can be counted, and not everything that can be counted counts. And I thought, you know, how nice is that? So thank you very much for thinking of me and for sending those my way. I do appreciate it so much. All right. A lady that I like to watch, her name is Mary, she is the Daydream Stitcher. She did a video that I watched recently where she shared 22 floss tubers that she likes to watch for 2022. And the way she did the video was great because she used a program where she could capture parts of each person she was highlighting and share their videos on her video. And I was very, very honored that she included me on her list of 22 floss tubers for 2022. She actually did 23. You know, I'm not tech savvy. Maybe when I retire I'll figure out how to do stuff like that. But I thought, you know, that's a wonderful idea. So I sat down and I started writing a list, and I have more than 22 people on here. And I just thought that I would run through and give you an idea of some of the people that I like to watch. And I was listing these down as I thought of them. There's no rhyme or reason to it. It's just as I thought of them. Anna, Stitch Roadies. Colleen and Cheryl, Stitching with the Sisterlies. Becca, Sambrie Stitches. ChrisXrossStitch. Lori, Texstylust. Lisa, Kindered Stitcher. Marlene Stitching by the Lake. Leslie Hurley. Vikki StitchNButton. Julie and Alyssa Stitching at the Cabin. Helen D. Niecie Lynn, Amy Loves Toads. Colette the Highway Stitcher. Athena StitchingGoddessDesigns. Gail Phillips. Mary, Daydream Stitcher. I don't know why you're so far down on the list since you're the one that gave me the idea. Michelle, Romantic Tangle. Sarah, Our Stitching Kingdom. Janet Jabber. Andrea's Cautionary Tales. Kerry and Stitches. Lisa, Prims on Greenway. Kathy from To Die House. Felicia MousePotaoeDesigns. And there's so many more than that. You know, Flosstube has become this huge community, and it satisfies so many people's needs for company over these last 2 years. And there's something on here for everyone. There are people that do the samplers, and yes, I watch Brenda and the Serial Starter and frog in my throat. And my mind went blank on the other lady, and I know I should know who she is. I like watching the people who do the samplers, but since I don't really do samplers, they're not my focus. On the other hand, I like the people who have an eclectic variety of stitching that they do. And I think that's true for everybody. You have somebody that does stitching that appeals to you, that draws you in. They may have a variety of different things. I know that the things I do are not the same as what everybody else does. I know there's a lot of people right now that are doing stitching for the Ukraine. That seems to be a common thread right now. In the back of my mind, I want to work on my Wheel of the Year journal that I have upstairs. So finding the piece that says Beltane on it to stitch, it's making sense in my brain. My Alphonse Mucha, I only know a couple other people who have done videos that are working on Alphonse Mucha. And Chris, you haven't been showing yours. You need to get back to it. Just saying. I don't even know if he watches my videos or not. But what I'm saying is that there is so much variety on Flosstube. There is something for everybody, and I love the fact that I was able to sit down and come up with 25 people just off the top of my head whose videos I really enjoy watching. And not all of them have cross-stitch in them. Some of them have quilting in them. Some of them have Harry Potter in them. Some of them have knitting in them. Some of them have something different in them. What I'm saying is that Flosstube is a great community. I am very thankful for being part of it. So make your own list. You could share it on Instagram if you don't have a Flosstube, or maybe you could share it on your Flosstube, or you do have one, or maybe it could be the reason you start a Flosstube, because we need more. Okay, so one last item I want to share, if I can find where I hid it. On my last video I said I needed to do a giveaway this time, and I have two patterns that I'm passing along. This is a brand new pattern. Hasn't been used, hasn't been unfolded, hasn't been colored on, written on, anything. This is a Fairy Garden needle book from the Heart Needle Art by Wendy. So I know I got this in a goodie bag from a retreat. I don't know which one. It's cute, it's wonderful, but again, this is not really my style of stitching, but I would like to share it with somebody else. So if you're interested in this one, say book. So this is the giveaway for this video. Keyword is book. This is a pass along, say trio. And if you want an overly abused pattern, say boo. Be over 18, be a subscriber, like the video, don't say giveaway, don't say free, don't say anything. These are all lightweight. I will mail them anywhere. I want to say thank you to everybody who has subscribed to my channel. I have gotten several new people here recently. Thank you very much for coming and watching my version of crazy. Thank you for all the comments that you leave. I love reading them. And I have to tell you, there are times this past 2 weeks when I sat down and I just reread comments because of my random act of stupid, and I needed something to make me happy. And your comments make me happy. So thank you for coming and visiting with me today. Thank you for liking my videos, for subscribing to my videos. Live long and stitch on, my friends. Bye-bye.